YouTube, what it do, what it do. Today you got 89 on up, homie, slash on the edge with BJ, APB. And today's topic is about other race homies joining black gangs, saying nigga, and having rank. So I'm gonna let the big homeboy kind of like kick it off. How did you ever feel coming up at the beginning of your time to now about other race homies in the blood community?
And honestly, when I was growing up, I didn't care. I didn't see homies no different. You know what I mean? I grew up with a white homie, and I grew up with a couple of Mexican homies. And I was quite tight with them. You know, I didn't look at them no differently. But when I came to the pen, I started recognizing things. You know, I started asking questions. Like, for instance, I started asking why homies that be homies in the county jail, when they get to the pen, they start running the Uso, running with the others, or they turn Serrano, or they turn North Daniel, or they just stop banging and run with their own race. You know what I mean? I started asking questions. Same thing with a white boy. A white boy come to the pen and, you know what I mean, he'd just ball it up and end up in PC or something. And I was asking questions like, damn, you know, these the homies, why is this happening, you know? And then I noticed like a couple of riots we had like over white homies. Most homies won't participate, you know what I mean? They know it's gonna go up when he come outside, and they act like they got something to do, you know what I mean? And won't even come outside and support it. And they'll get away with it because us that do support every homie, we'll be in the hole. So they'll stay on the yard and nothing never happened. So this started flustering my mind of why people was doing this. So when I asked the older homie one time, he explained it to me. He was like, it's nothing personal. He was like, these gangs are black gangs. He was like, you got black gangs, you got white gangs, you got Mexican gangs. He was like, the whole purpose of the colored gang is for our community. Even though these Mexicans and maybe whites or whoever living in our community is a part of our community, still the whole purpose of the gang culture was to protect our community.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Once we fell away from protecting our community and got into fighting each other, that's when all these other races was allowed to, you know what I mean, get deeper involved into our politics. And when they got deeper involved in our politics and came to the pen, when they came to the pen, they started recognizing that no matter what they do, they was not going to elevate. But that's when they started, making their decisions of leaving.
Right. So let me just stop you right there before you just say that. So let me take it back to when you on the streets, when we on the streets with these type of homies of different races, whites, Asians, Mexican homeboys, we not looking at none of this bigger picture, futurized shit of them hitting the penitentiary, shit really being hard on them, and us having to really decide along with other bloods or other races, is we gonna stand side by side with them. Why did we accept these homies at the beginning, homie? On the streets, you know, some of them, like you said, some of them put in a gain of work and road and everything, homie. So what's the difference?
Well, I'm going to say this, you know, to my knowledge, right? Sometimes you got hoods where they be short on homies to where this particular dude comes say he Mexican or white. He come and he start hanging with you and he just turn into a beast. You know what I mean? He just start doing all type of shit to where the hood look good. But only we know he the one doing the shit. The people outside the hood don't know he the one tripping. when he start doing shit like that, homies look at it as, shit, he making us look good. That's the homie. Shit, fuck it. Go and accept it. You don't be no questions. Don't nobody, if you never been to the pen and nobody never educates you on politics in the prison system, you wouldn't understand it because nobody explains that to you. So you looking at it as this your brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? You even think it's funny when you got a white homie and he get drunk, he gets, oh, shut up, nigga. You get to thinking it's funny. You laugh and giggle with him when you're on the streets. But when you come to the prison system, cats frown upon him using that word. Even though he's from your hood and you take up for him, it's a lot of other homies that's not going to accept you.
So on the street, not to cut you off, not to cut you off, big homie, but when it's some homies on the street, if they not saying nigga, we don't look at them as super being validated, homie. And I was one of them type homies. If we had a homie of a different race and you pushing everything we pushing, nigga, and you looking like you skeptical on using a certain type of language, you're questionable to certain type of homies. Have you ran across homies that had that same type of feeling as me? And it's homies that I'm speaking about?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Because I done had homies like get to playing with like other race homies and shit. Like for example, we had an Asian homie. He was from the jungles. When he used to come over and kick it, homies used to always make little jokes about, you know, him being Asian. You know what I mean? But as soon as he get mad and start making nigga jokes, both of them want to jump on him.
Right.
But really, it's you picking on him and not thinking about this the homie regardless of what race he is. But you want to take it all extreme as soon as he say the N-word. But it's all cool long as you call him Top Ramen Joe and all this other shit. You know what I mean? You think everybody laughing and giggling as soon as he gets back with some black jokes, you want to get on him and expunge him out the neighborhood.
Right.
To me, that's never been cool.
Right.
You know, my homie is my homie. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel that certain races should be privy to saying certain things. But I'm only one person.
Correct.
And I'm also at fault of being a hypocrite because how am I going to tell another person not to say the N-word, not use it? That's
Right.
why I try my best to not use it.
Right.
I've been using it so long. I've been using it since I was a baby.
Right.
So it's kind of hard for me to change, but I try my best not to use it, especially in the presence of other races, because I don't want another race, especially if you're not my homie, to be hitting me with that word.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Did you have
And
any
the reason
homies from
why
your
is
turf
because-
that was a different race besides black coming up?
Yeah, we got still to this day, we got a few Mexican homies and we got a German homie. And back in the days, we had a pure white boy. You know what I mean? We got a white home girl from the turf. You know what I mean?
Did any of them use the word
all
nigga?
Kind of different races over there.
Did any of them use the word nigga?
Yep. Yeah, one of the Mexican homies used it in my generation that I know of. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he used it whenever he was rapping. He used
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Nobody never told him he couldn't use it.
Yeah. Okay, so to move it up some, homie. So a homie in the turf, they come in on a different race, and they giving the hood all they got, and now they go to jail. How do some of the homies look at them in the jailhouse? And they've been out here doing their thing. Is it a whole different challenge?
Well, I'm gonna say this: it's a challenge because to me, you got some homies. I'm just gonna be real. You got some homies just use an excuse to mark the game, homie. That's the best way I can put it. Because if you my homie, I'm gonna help you regardless. But I remember times where, say, the Mexicans try to get on the homie because he's Mexican in the black gang. I remember time homies be like, shit, he ain't from my hood, or he a motherfucking Mexican, you know what I mean? He did see that. That's still your homie. But then I done been around Mexican homies and white homies that survive in the pen and be on the yard kicking it with you. As soon as they be like, oh, shut up, nigga. Somebody getting their feelings and want to roll him up now. Want to get him off the yard because he said it, but in actuality, as long as we was at war, he was putting in work, he was the homie. So if he say this word, now he ain't the homie no more. But sometimes it be hidden agendas behind that.
Right.
Because I noticed, like, a lot of times it be homies that dislike him from the start. You know what I mean? Because this homie might get popularity. You know what I mean? He might come in, he done put in so much work, and everybody on him. Like, damn, that's the homie right there. That's what's the name they was talking about.
And not to cut you off, you talking about, not to cut you off, OG, but you talking about the homie might come in of a different race with street popularity or something, you saying?
Right. He might come in with street popularity, and then you got a cat that dislike him because of that popularity, because basically his name popping more than yours.
Yeah.
So this cat on the low will start making excuses to keep him in check. And that's what discouraged them type of homies from being with us.
And is it do it be like, other homies that kind of intervene on that type of shit? Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes homies just behind the scenes to say how they feel, but they won't go actually tell a person how they feel. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. When we was at Pelican Bay, we had a Al Salvadorian homie. Right.
Everybody liked him as long as he was putting in work. And to be honest with you, shit, he had more write-ups than most of the homies that was at Pelican Bay.
Right.
For a dude at his age, you know what I mean? And all his write-ups was for putting in work. It wasn't no write-ups for, like, wine making and bullshit. So one day he get mad at one of the homies. Him and the homie kept on disrespecting his race. Kept calling him all kind of things that disrespect Mexicans. And he kept telling the homie, I'm not Mexican, I'm El Salvadorian. And the homie was like, it's the same thing. So they end up getting down or whatever while the homie on the ground. He tell the homie, like, bitch ass motherfucker, you better be glad I done kill your ass, nigga. When he said that, certain homies that he done got into it with before, they felt some type of way about him using that word.
You talking about the El Salvadorian homie? Right. People got offended. Certain homies got offended with the El Salvadorian homie saying that.
Right. Got offended by him using the N.word.
Right.
But this man been using it all his life. You know what I mean? And nobody said nothing to him or told him it was wrong.
Yeah.
But also, suddenly on this day, he says something, he offends certain homies, so certain homies got to going around trying to get the masses to vote him out. When the masses ignored it, he got swept under the table, but certain homies still didn't like him. They used to just watch him and hope that he'd fuck up one day so they got a reason to get him. But he never fucked it up. He always kept it 100 like he was supposed to.
Right. So, would a homie of a different race ever get a chance to run a car, you think, inside of an institution?
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I guess we'll pick that up on a part 2.
I'll be right back with you.
Right on. 89 on up. G shit, not ye shit. And we finna run a part 2 up on the feelings of homies and other homies, how we feel about different races joining black gangs, homie.